As the era of professional wrestling really evolved throughout the last several decades, we saw things that came and went that we enjoyed and some things we didn't enjoy. But the one thing that really made us tune into any wrestling company was always the performers and the ability. And when we got to the point where we tuned in, that's always what made us feel like what we're doing in terms of investing our time to see things in a wrestling company is what truly mattered. And we fans, we're always grateful for the memories. We don't always agree with characterization and plots and storylines and stuff like that, but at least these companies, they manage to keep us really watching. And years pass, a lot changes, but the more things stay the same. And in the past on my channel, whether now or previous channels, I always touch base on the problems with WWE. But never more than ever in this time and period, I feel that WWE is not only out of touch, but they are truly failing as a company because they come off as a company more about agenda and expansion and realistically being about a practice that really is a form of ruthless, a form of um, agenda. I mean, the last several years of WWE, it just feels like more and more that it really is about something that really does not really pertain to the fans' enjoyment like it did in the past. I've laid out problems with WWE in the past. The constant rematches, for one, it just feels more and more like this is practically what they do nearly every week, every month, nearly every big event. It's always some rematch that we have seen already many times over. Now, I get it that rematches happen, but don't you think it's over to the point where it's excessively happening more and more and more? You know what I mean? Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, okay? And a lot of other ones too. I don't have a problem with certain rematches that come along because I know they have to complete storylines and you can't just do it with one match and then move on. But I feel more than ever that the last maybe 3, 5, maybe 7 years, WWE has shoved so much unwanted rematches at us to where I feel that not only are they repetitive, but they can't offer anything new that we haven't seen before. That's why when SummerSlam came out, I basically said Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. There was nothing they were going to do in that match that we haven't seen already. Okay? We've seen those two face each other so many times. All right? And the fact that they couldn't give us something different, because there were more talents in that locker room that were not used at SummerSlam that needed it compared to what we had gotten that we've already seen 100 times. I'm not saying Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are bad performers, but I'm saying, don't you think that they have delivered a lot of matches between them to where other matches between them are not going to offer anything new? That is something I've been very vocal about in terms of these rematches. It's always been like this. But it just seems more and more as the years went by, it was continuously a reminder that the rematch curse still goes on and it's actually gotten worse. The other thing is the agenda. They keep a certain specific superstars at the top. No matter how many times they're in the main event picture, they are the ones that basically are centered around the whole title picture. But the problem also is they're not utilizing a lot of the younger talents and giving them main event pushes. Because if it's not about the t shirt sales, the ticket sales, and these performers, they're not utilized enough to where they can show that they can bring in that kind of audience. Normally, like the other people that are at the top all the time, they're not going to push these people. They don't give them much of a chance. And say what you will, I know a lot of us, we didn't know at the time that WWE was planning something big for Sami Zayn. But the fact that Sami won a championship and then lost it instantly right away, that was a bad call by WWE. There was no reason that man could not have the belt for at least a month, maybe 2 months, and then take the belt off of him. They didn't even give him much of a chance to showcase what he could do while being a world champion. And that to me right there was a huge tease that they pushed on us to have us believe that the younger talent was finally being acknowledged. And the moment they put the belt on him, they ripped it right away. And they've done this to performers in the past too, as well, not just with Sami Zayn. But the whole point I make, you got to change the scenery up now and then. You can't just base it off the same people throughout the entire year. The other thing is when storylines go too long, and there's specifically one that I wanted to really talk about, the storyline of the bloodline. This has been going on now for about what, 6 years? 6.5, maybe 7 years at least. How many times is Roman Reigns going to keep doing the same old shtick? Like, why can't this whole bloodline thing end and have Roman go on to other people, and these other people in the tribe, if you want to call them that, are basically able to move on, but without having matches with each other. The bloodline storyline also is reminiscent of storylines in the past that went way too long. Ability wise, they still are good, but creatively, it's overkill. And having this happen continuously, it's becoming to a point where many people are feeling like they're not going to pull the plug, and it's going to hurt the careers of everybody involved. And the fact that Roman Reigns is still doing this, it it's showing they have nothing else for him to do. And it's really one of the criticisms that storylines go too long. And the thing is that they're kind of reminiscent of something that really I'm reminded of is back in WCW. Do you remember when the NWO storyline went way too long and everybody, according to I think it was Kevin Nash, had joined the NWO? Do you know what happened with that whole thing? It started to cause the ratings to fall over time because people were bored with it. People didn't want to see it. And while I'm on the other subject, you notice how all these group factions, more and more, that they're always coming along and having the same bad ending with groups fighting and breaking up. Why can't we just stop doing the factions? It hasn't been big in a long time. I'm reminded of when they were more superior at a point in time, when we had like the NWO, the Horsemen, um, or WWE. We had the Heart Foundation, the Nation of Domination, DOA. All these factions. They were big back then because it wasn't overkill to the point where we have to see it constantly with the same old shtick that happens with all these groups coming and going. There's been so many factions that have come and gone that I don't care about it anymore, and I don't think it really does anything anymore, and it just shows it's a repetitive thing that's launched all the time. Group gang warfare is not fun anymore. It's not interesting to me, and a lot of people feel the same way. That is another criticism I've had is that when these factions come along, that basically is the problem. But another series of things that I want to talk about: streaming apps or streaming services to watch WWE content. Currently, right now, that we have to pay money for three different apps: Peacock, Netflix, and ESPN, just to keep up with WWE content or watch stuff from the past. I miss the days of the WWE network on WWE.com for $9.99 a month. It had everything nearly. We could watch it, and we had a great selection, and we could only watch it on one basic thing, and that was WWE.com. And I miss that because it worked, because it's just one thing. We pay monthly, and that is it. But over the years, they have really done a lot of things decision wise to make it harder to watch the content. They moved it to Peacock, and then Peacock started censoring moments in WWE history. But it was starting to feel a little bit over time like maybe we could still watch it because, again, it was just one thing. Now we got to go to not one, not two, but three things. And on top of that, these apps, these streaming services are yanking the prices up almost twice a year. This is another thing that I've really grown tired of because a lot of people right now don't want to spend that kind of money to watch WWE when creatively it's a mess. Because not only creatively is it hard to watch, but financially it's hard to watch. And it just feels like it's just becoming way too hard to be a WWE fan. And you're always reminded of something that's truly unfair. But they had more going with the WWE network where where both sides were actually enjoying it. Both sides were working in terms of keeping it going. We tuned in, they kept it going because the fan base was there. And then, over the years, price increases and bad decisions started to come along, and now it just feels like I could care less about watching realistically anything WWE currently because these streaming services have become so greedy. I mean, everything is already going up as it is, but never more than ever did TKO and WWE make it evident that they're doing this mainly because they just want people to pay. But when you're not struggling to focus creatively, you're struggling financially just to watch it. We don't have a lot really going with it anymore, but a lot of us really feel like we're paying more for something and getting less. And the other thing I've been vocal about in the past is too many championships. Why do we need to have too many titles in WWE? Why do we have to have almost the logic that everybody must be a champion? Back then, when we had the road to the titles, we had the basic set of titles. We didn't have to worry about following what champion because it wasn't over. It was overkill. It was not overkill like it is now. It's not excessive. Now it just seems like two tag team champions, two world champions, two women's champions, or three women's champions. It's more and more and more. And by that point, the way of the title is now where a champion faces a person that won a number one contender match, and then that person wins a belt. That's it. Back then, we had divisions for the championships: WWE Intercontinental Tag Team Championship and a Women's Championship. That was it, and even the Hardcore Championship. Now we don't have that. But back then, when we had the divisions, it makes the titles feel more meaningful. It makes it feel like there's that road to the title and the struggle that comes along when that person finally wins a championship. That is all gone now. Now every day it's like number one contender match, face the champion. Oh, we have a new champion. That's it. There's no road to the title anymore. And I feel like this company is just really becoming overcomplicated. And I mean more and more to where fans also just don't want to tune into it half the time anymore. All these guys from the past are all leaving. We lost Brock Lesnar. We lost John Cena, AJ Styles, Bill Goldberg retired. I mean, all these guys, they were great for their time, but now that they're gone, like there's really not many people they can push to the top because if it's not agenda, then how are they ever going to get ahead and be different from the agenda picks that WWE gives us, like CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, over and over and over again? But not utilizing for tomorrow and relying on the same people, it just means the same world title scene is going to be with the same people. I mean, I'm happy Kevin Owens is back, but let's be honest, long term, they're not going to really push him in the main event level. Um, Whoever else, I mean, they didn't last in the main event picture and they were dumped back to mid card status. And I just feel more and more like it's just about agenda, really. And SummerSlam definitely proved that. Um, Overall, I feel this company is a broken shell of what it used to be. And before someone says, "Hi, man, you shouldn't knock WWE. If you don't like it, don't watch it." I can watch it for the performer's ability and respectfully watch it because of that. But creatively, like many other people, I'm allowed to call this stuff out, and as well as anybody else is. And that's something at the end of the day, that's the big difference. And one more thing about WWE, and it pertains to the fans really. I've touched base on this. Why is it every time when you fans get what you want after complaining about something, and when you finally get that person that wins the big championship or does that big main event push, you turn on everything after you get it? Like a couple months or maybe even instantly after they win the belt or some big moment that happens with them. These fans do not stay loyal to anything. They get something and then they crap on it after they get it afterwards. And it defeats the whole point of you guys complaining when you're never happy with what you got. Today's WWE fans are, in fact, very biased and they don't know what they want. And that is one of the other reasons why WWE is free falling. They can't please everybody, and I get that. They can't always make everything with sheer gold and perfection. But having these kinds of fans at the same time, it's one of the most frustrating things ever. Not just for other fans that are really sick of them, but also the fact that WWE tries to please these people and they get caught in the same backlash. And it just goes to show there's no loyalty anymore. And these fans will dump on stuff after they complain for a long time after not getting it. It's just horrible. So these have been my problems about WWE. I mean, feel free to comment in the video section down below. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Thanks again for watching.